Yo, what's going on, everyone? It's your boy Pup. We're back for week 5 of the PPL. This week we're taking on a great friend of mine, Onesie Bennett. They are just a great battler, great person in general. And we just played them and lost in the VDL semifinals. So they're obviously very, very good. Played them in VDL twice. We played them in the ICP in our winning season there. And yeah, so we've had some really good games in the past. They were one of the people that really vouched for me to get into the PPL. So huge thanks to them. But now we got to take them out because this is a huge game for us. Right now, we are 3-1 in third place, and they are 2-2 in fourth place in our division. So if we're able to win this game, it'll be huge for me, especially coming off of a loss last week versus Diet. And yeah, we just really want this win. It'll be huge for us, and just give me a nice momentum boost. If I get this, obviously there's 9 weeks, so 4 wins is not going to be quite enough to get us in the playoffs. But that just puts me one step closer to what I need to do. So let's look at their teams. They will be on screen right now. Onesie has a very nasty, scary team. With a Greninja that can be Protean, be Battle Bond, and just like be nasty. I'm very much expecting like a Choice Scarfed variant in this game. I think Specs could be solid as well, or even like a lead Sash one. But just the combination of Water, Ice, and Dark is really hard for my team to switch into. Besides like, an Alomomola, which I definitely think that they could be physical in this game. I think that makes the most sense. So they would get around my my Assault Vest, anything like that anyways. And then I can't really even like T-Wave them with Klefki, especially if they are Battle Bond. So we're just going to have to play around that Pokemon. They have a Dragonite as well, which can set up with Dragonance and be annoying versus my squad too. Or just spam like Choice Banded E-Speeds because I have no Ghost types naturally. I do have a couple of Steels, but one of them is Terra Captain. They have a Terra Ogerpon, which can give itself a speed boost. It's already one of the faster Pokemon on the field here. And boosting up those Ivy Cudgels can be pretty solid versus me, especially if they're afraid of Alomomola. Luckily, I do have a lot of things that beat that Pokemon pretty well. The scary Terra Captain for me this week is going to be Terra OKIDOGI. That thing is just kind of nasty. It has great stats. It's just really held back by its typing. So being able to turn itself into basically any type, I think ground makes a lot of sense versus my team to try to be able to hit stuff like my Klefki and my Iron Treads before Terra, and just makes them, a little bit better into Thundurus, better into a lot of Pokemon on my team. I think that makes a lot of sense, and it will also take care of like Terra Steel Komaos, which I have shown to bring in the past and make sense again in this game. So I think that makes a lot of sense. You could also just go Terra Dark to get around Psychic moves. Obviously, I don't have Psychic types besides Azelf on my team, but it is still like an opportunity for Terra Dark on their squad. But that thing will just click a Bulk Up and Drain Punch, Poison Jab. It'll get poisons with Toxic Chain. Yeah, it'll just be kind of nasty versus my team. So I'm either going to have to neutralize it pretty quick, or just like knock off the leftovers and out survive it, which is not the game that we want to play, but a game that we can potentially play. Next up is Skarmory, who is a nasty Pokemon because they can set up spikes for free. Whirlwind me around is really annoying. I don't have the Pokemon that destroy it that easily. Both my Terra Captains really struggle to hit it unless we have very strong like Terra types into it. The only Pokemon that hit this thing super hard are Cinderace, which clicks Pyro Ball, which can miss, and they have like a Blastoise or an Arcanine that can switch in for free, or Thundurus, which they don't really have great switch-ins besides maybe Sandy Shocks. So, I hopefully will be able to beat that thing down if they bring it, but it is one of the scarier Pokemon just because I don't see a great way around it. We also have a Gardevoir on their squad, which is Pokemon I don't expect to see this week. Obviously, it threatens my Como before Terra, but Terra Como is really strong here with, Terra Ghosts, which I'm bringing to be able to destroy them. So I don't think this Pokemon comes. If it does, I'm more or less expecting it to be Trick Choice Scarf. It also could be like Choice Specs to try to cripple my Aloe is the idea, or maybe like a Klefki that would want to switch in on that. And then also, I could also see an Assault Vest variant coming here because that can switch into the Azelf to the Regidrago, importantly. Maybe even some Thundurus or special Como. So I could see that happening if they really want to get fancy with it. I also have Blastoise, which I think offensively looks really good here. A Shell Smash can actually just like seal the game if I don't have Aloe or it's crippled. And defensively, it can also do a lot of work because it can switch into Cinderace, which is, you know, really good into their team. It can switch into Treads if they're really physically defensive, which is also very solid into their team. And then just be able to flip turn out. They can rapid spin Spikes away, which are really good on my side. I don't have spin blocker, all that cool stuff. They also have Sandy Shocks, who can set up Spikes and Stealth Rocks of their own while Volt switching around. I actually think this Pokemon's really good. Should tech on Power Gem for my Thundurus. But I think just like Volt Switch, Power Gem, Spikes, and Stealth Rocks are really strong. I think it also gets dual screens as well, which is annoying if they want to set up with any of the Pokemon on their squad, which I think it should be a setup, you know, a very strong setup game for Onesie here. Speaking of setup, they have their Dunsparce, which is their kill leader so far, which has been able to set up in the past with like Calm Minds, Roost, and stuff. It can be Coil as well, but I think that, you know, Calm Mind with Boom Burst makes sense into my squad, I think. So we'll be able to hopefully deal with that Pokemon, but I do expect it to come because it is annoying and just, it doesn't like to die, and it can just glare basically everything on my team and be annoying. They have the Hisuian Arcanine, which can be a menace if it's like choice banded. I do have stuff like Como that is very physically defensive naturally that can take it on, but like it really doesn't like to. And the nice thing is that Aloe, if I do bring it in this game, can just like, you know, pretty easily check it. I can switch into some hits. If they're not banded, I can threaten them with the Aqua Jet or Flip Turn that just destroy them and get momentum for me, which is nice. So it might be more of a hindrance for them to bring it offensively or defensively, because it could be a defensive Pokemon to switch into my Cinderace. Although it does get kind of smashed by High Jump Kick. They also have a Terra Trevenant, which I think they brought last week, or maybe that was 2 weeks ago. I don't really see it in this game. Trevenant is cool by the fact that, you know, it's a nice ghost type, so it's already able to, you know, switch into stuff like Como to Treads to Thundurus. It can switch into a lot of those things, and it can be Harvest. It can even get the Sun Up if they want to and harvest for free, go for citrus berries and everything, and then just kind of outlive all of my team. They can also Terra and be annoying. I think Terra Fairy makes a lot of sense. Or if they expect me to be Terra Steels, then I could definitely see Terra Fire from that Pokemon. They get up the Sun and they just spam Parablast Fire with Harvest. Could be a little bit nasty for my team, but honestly, they have to be very defensive for it to work, and they might have to, you know, work with Trick Room as well. So I don't think it makes that much sense, but it's a possibility for sure. And then they also have a Cranidos, which is not coming to this game. It's not good at all. I could definitely see merit in them bringing it to a different game in the future, but it's just not good here. So, unfortunately, not going to be a Pokemon in this game. But let's talk about what I'm bringing for this week. So, I'm a little bit worried about the OKIDOGI setting up, worried about the Dunsparce setting up. I'm worried about all that sort of setup, the Skarmory as well, setting up hazards and everything. So, we're starting off with a Terra Ghost Como with Taunt. The biggest idea of this guy is that I can just taunt basically everything on their team. Nothing really threatens me because they don't have any natural dark types. I do expect Dogi to potentially be Terra Dark with knockoff, which can be annoying. But into that, I can click Drain Punch. Terra Blast plus Drain Punch absolutely smoke their entire team. They don't have anything that's really good into that combination. And I can just bulk up and, you know, boost that power. We have a lot of special defense on this guy, so I should be able to live hits from the Greninja is the big thing. I can live that hit and then hit it with a Drain Punch back and be in a good position, or I can also eat hits from like +2 Blastoise if that ends up happening. We have, you know, just some good investment around the board basically to try to make us as bulky as possible while also being strong enough to be able to 1v1 a lot of stuff on their team. And I'm bulletproof. Does this help me that much? Probably not. Does it have niche applications versus some specific Pokemon? What did I put this on for? Oh, I know there was some specific thing. I think it stops Shadow Ball from the Gardevoir, which is nice. I think the Dunsparce can also be Shadow Ball. And then Terra Ghost obviously gets past the Boom Burst on the Dunsparce, so I'm hoping to be able to just wall that thing. It's the idea behind Bulletproof on this Pokemon. But yeah, it looks like a solid Pokemon in general versus their squad. I think I have speed on here for like a 0-speed Gardevoir, which is nice if they do end up being like Assault Vest, very bulky to try to beat Regidrago, or like a Dragon Como, which is also looks pretty solid versus their squad. Next up is going to be Iron Treads. We are Terra Dragon on this guy, although I never expect to click Terra Dragon. It's basically just there to bait them. We are Pasho Berry, so I can always eat a Hydro Pump or a Surf from Greninja with a little bit of special defense investment. Earthquake, Ice Spinner, Volt Switch, and Rapid Spin is really strong versus their squad. Only things that are really great into it are Skarmory, which I Volt Switch out on and get out like my Cinderace to be able to destroy them, or, Thundurus. So that's annoying. I could also see Blastoise being pretty annoying, just being able to take on those Earthquakes. If it's a leftovers, being able to, just heal that thing up, be defensive, then it'll be annoying. I can obviously Volt Switch out versus that, but I don't have something that really wants to come in on a flip turn. So yeah, those things are annoying. We have Ice Spinner that hits the Dragonite, hits Ogerpon, it hits Trevenant as well. So we shouldn't have to worry about all that sort of stuff. Then I can always spin, since their Ghost type is a Trevenant, which I don't expect to come to the game at all. Also, it's harder for them to get up hazards in general here, because of all the offensive pressure that I put up, with the Shreds, with the Como, with everything else on my squad. But I have a Rapid Spin just in case we need it. I have gotten killed by a Toxic Spike since my, Poison type is a Swalot, so hopefully we don't have to experience those from Greninja. Next up, we have a Choice Scarf Cinderace. This thing will outrun a Choice Scarf or Terrad Ogerpon. It'll also outrun, Choice Scarf Gardevoir. It should outrun +1 Dragonite, all those sort of things, and be able to spam Pyro Ball versus their team is really nice. The Blastoise is the one thing that can take it, but I can U-turn out versus that for free, or I can try a Jump Kick. I also have Quick Attack as the last attack on this, which is really just there for the Greninja if they do end up being Choice Scarfed or Battle Bonded. If they're Battle Bond, I do expect them to be Life Orbs. They're going to be chipping themselves down. If I'm able to hit them really hard with some Quick Attacks, then I should be able to knock them out at least after a little bit of chip, because I'm never going to let them get that Battle Bond off for free, hopefully. Not like I have great options into it. But that's the idea with Quick Attack there. If they're not Choice Scarfed, if they're like Specs, or if they're just Life Orb or Focus Sash or anything like that, then I just outrun it and I destroy them with High Jump Kick or U-turn and just put myself in a good spot. We also have an Azelf here, I think making its debut for this season, with a Salic Berry here. So once I get under 25%, then I boost my speed, which is really nice versus their squad. We are Mystical Power, which always gives me a special attack boost if I land. It's like 70 base power, 90% accurate. So hopefully I don't miss, but it threatens stuff like the OKIDOGI. We have Flamethrower, which hits the Ogerpon, it hits the Skarmory, it hits the Trevenant. And then Dazzling Gleam is there for Greninja, it's there for Dragonite, it's there for like Terra Dark on the OKIDOGI as well. And then we have Substitute, so I can, sub myself down. If we're able to get the Salic Berry off, then we actually can just sweep them if we get that Mystical Power boost. Versus their squad, we need a little bit of stuff to go right, but this Pokemon can easily sweep their squad. I don't anticipate it's actually going to happen, but it definitely could. And, even if it doesn't, Azelf has strong enough special attack that it's just going to break hole in their team. I think something like very specially defensive OKIDOGI can come to this game, and even if I'm able to break that thing apart with Azelf, it puts me in a really good position. We also have a Klefki on the team with dual screens, light screen. We are max physical defense, because this thing kind of just like poops on the Dragonite. Obviously they can Earthquake me, but if I get a Reflect Up, I can Foul Play versus them. It puts me in a good spot. We, like I said, I have dual screens, Foul Play, and then Spikes, because their Hazard Remover is a Blastoise, and I do have Terra Ghost Como on my team that can spin block that. I also think they might be offensive this week, so I want to get, I want to get them, obviously, if they're going to be aggressive with that. So Spikes makes a lot of sense, and it just puts everything down into, like, nice kill ranges. I need a little bit of chip on Greninja to be able to knock it out with Drain Punch from Como, all that sort of thing. And then the chip just throughout the game is going to be really, really nice. That's something that I've seen a lot this season with how my team functions. It really likes, chipping those Pokemon down over time, because there's not that many things that can pivot around versus my team, but the things that can pivot around versus my team will stay around for a while. But last and certainly not least is going to be my Thundurus Therian. We are a Magnet this week. Agility, Thunderbolt, Dark Pulse, and Nasty Plot. Dark Pulse is obviously nice, so we can have a move to hit Sandy Shocks, but it also hits stuff like the Trevenant. It hits Terra Ground Dogi. Anything like that I can hit with like decent attacks. I can also have the flinch chance there. Obviously, it could have been nice to tech on like a Grass Knot here as well. So I could have hit the Sandy Shocks, but it's not that heavy. so it doesn't take that much. But if we get an agility and nasty plot up, then it's basically just GG's. It is kind of easy for me to get, you know, one of the two up against like a Skarmory or a Blastoise or something like that, so I can put myself in that position. Thought about weakness policy on this, because if I do, you know, agility up versus a Blastoise, they bring in the Sandy Shocks. I can nasty plot, they give me a weakness policy boost, hitting me with Power Gem that I can absolutely sweep through their team. But it doesn't make that much sense when they do have a lot of priority potentially in the back with E-Speed, Dragonite, and Arcanine. They have like Aqua Jet, Blastoise, they have Water Shuriken on the Greninja. So I thought this makes a lot more sense to be more of a breaker, but also have the potential for sweeping, since we don't actually need all of our 4 move slots for breaking into their team. But that is going to be the team. I hope you guys do enjoy. You know, Onezie's obviously a great guy and a great battler, so it's going to be really tough to win this one. And we don't have any easy games down the stretch. I think we play Necker Stevo, we play Amber, Gunk, and we play General Tarheel from Playmore. So it's going to be really tough. We need to at least get 2 more wins for me to be pretty confident to be in the playoffs. But even 5 and 4 might not be enough with how bad my differential is right now. 3 and 1 plus 2 is not really that great. I would love to be, you know, in that like plus 10-ish territory. Like 5 and 1 plus 10 would be the ideal place to get, but that means we're going to have to win 2 games in a row, and we're going to have to win them in convincing fashion. So hopefully we're able to do that. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy. If you do, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe. But let's get straight into the battle. Yo, what's going on, everyone? We are back for PPL Week 5 against a good friend, Onezie here. Do you see a Terra Grass Ogerpon and a Terra Ground OKIDOGI? The Greninja absolutely smashes my team. They bring Gardevoir, no Skarmory, which is fine. I'm a little bit surprised to see no Skarm, but that's okay. I think that this Greninja has a good likelihood to be Choice Scarf. If it's Choice Scarf, then it's going to be really hard for me to beat. If it's anything else, it shouldn't be too terrible. I really want to lead with Komao here, because it leads well into basically everything on their team. And I mean, it doesn't really want to take like a Glare from the Dunsparce, right? I can also just taunt that thing on turn 1. I think I'll lead it. I like the idea of getting up my Terra early, and I do threaten them with that in the first place. And it really just matches up great against basically everything. Even if they go Gren, I will probably just click Drain Punch versus that guy. Because if they're Protean, then I take care of that. I mean, okay, I have a Pasho Berry, Treads, I have a Klefki in this game, I have Salic Berry, Azelf, and I have Choice Scarf, Cinderace, so maybe the combination of those can beat Greninja. I also think there's a decent likelihood that they might just be physical, as they do lead Gren. Seeing it lead makes me feel like it's Scarf physical here. It really does make me feel that way. I really just want to like Terra Ghost, Terra Blast. I think Drain Punch makes more sense versus this guy, just in case. Like with my Komao here, Greninja. If they're Choice Specs, I always live in Ice Beam here, and I knock them out with Drain Punch. So I'm just going to Drain Punch on turn 1. It's like a 50-50-ish. You do Ice Beam, so you get me here, and you are Protean. I live Choice Specs. Yes, we easily eat that. And I get the Drain Punch. This might die. It does not, but they take 1,000,000,000%, and we also know they're not Specs. We know they are definitely not Specs from that damage. And I really like just tearing into Ghost and Terra Blasting here. Seems incredibly free for me. Getting this thing down, it's in range of like 1 spike, so it puts me in a great position. As I withdraw, we might see Gardevoir, we might see OKIDOGI, I think is... Oh, this is Brian, I think it is. Yeah, it's a Dogi. They're going to take some decent damage. A Terra Ghost, Terra Blast. Yeah, it'll do solid damage here for sure. We'll get to see what kind of HP investment they are. All that sort of stuff. See if they're like physically defensive. I mean, it's a physically defensive Pokemon in general. But yeah, that's actually quite solid damage. And are you going to be slow with lefties, or are you going to be no lefties? No lefties. We did about 25%, so it looks like just potentially max HP and a mid roll. And this thing does not look like it can get its health back. Now, a knockoff here would be a little bit annoying, right? I can always go out into my Klefki here, really, and just get the free spike up. I also kind of like the foul play click. I think Klefki makes a lot of sense here. I'm going to make the play. If they want to predict this and swap out, then that's fine. I'm just trying to keep my Como healthy because it's the key to winning this game. It really is. Yeah, they do double, so that's a good play. If it's Gren here, then that's okay. It is not. It's Hoist. Okay. This thing could totally be shell smashing on me here. I feel like the play is to foul play here. Because if you are shell smash, it's going to be a little bit nasty, right? I guess you could also be like Specs Water Spout, which would also be nasty. It would be nasty. I'm going to foul play here. I'm just going to click it. They do withdraw. So we're going to get some damage. This might be Gren coming straight out and dying. Yeah, this is Gren. This thing dies. This thing dies. And that probably shows me not to smash. I mean, it might be. But we get the Gren, which is the biggest problem for my team. So taking that out super early game is huge for me. I'm really liking this. And I completely understand them making that double, trying to predict the spike to go up there. So yeah, foul play was always the right play there. Does they go out to Naruto Brian? Now this thing scares me. Like, obviously it's Terra Ground here, right? Terra Ground makes a lot of sense. I can do decent damage. I can set up spikes, which they just cannot remove. I mean, they can, but I have a Como, right? I can get up my Reflect here. There's a chance they might, you know, just set up on me here. I kind of like Reflect. I'm going to Reflect on this specific turn. We are going to see Terra Ground. Yeah, I mean, this Pokemon's a big threat, right? Ground. If they're Terra Blast, it's going to hurt. You probably also get another ground type attack. I would have to assume. But we're just going to set up Reflect here. Or Max Fizz Def as well. It's just Drain Punch, which does absolutely nothing. Did what, like 42, I think, from that Drain Punch? Which looks like 0 attack. So probably very Spadef. Potentially, like, bulk up, right? I think this gives me, like, a free swap, really. I can go out to Thunda here. I guess if you're, like, specially defensive, you're not taking that much from Dark Pulse. I mean, this Pokemon does have a lot of annoying traits to beat me with, right? It's very hard for me to hit this Pokemon super hard. I think I'm going to get up one layer of Spike here. If you do show bulk up, then that's okay. I think I just kind of spam Foul Play versus this guy. You are bulk up. So yeah, +1 Dogi is annoying. This Pokemon's really hard for me to beat. I mean, Klefki Foul Play is doing a good chunk, right? I can keep them into some sort of range. I could also go out to the Thundurus in this scenario, right? I don't think we're ever dying to Ice Punch. I don't think we ever died to 2 Ice Punches. And I feel like Drain Punch is the more obvious play here. And Dark Pulse, I mean, even if you're very specially defensive, like, we should be fine. Take, what, 55 to that Drain Punch, which is what we expect. I could totally plot here if I wanted to. I could definitely plot and get a lot of damage. I'm just going to Dark Pulse on this turn. So we have chances to flinch and everything. Yeah, they're going to Gunk Shot and they miss. Actually, I'm pretty sure I would have lived this. Yeah, 100% of the time. Through Reflect, it is definitely unfortunate. I'm clicking Dark Pulse again. It's just the best play for me. The good thing about this is that no matter what, I'm chipping this Pokemon down. and it's going to be in like Azelf range eventually. I guess they do have a lot of special defense, so it'll take a minute for me to get them into Azelf range. But they can't even knock me out with like a knockoff into Azelf. So I just have to hit double mystical powers, which is only like 80% to hit 2 of them. But I mean, like, this Dark Pulse damage is pretty nice for me. Because this turns into the biggest threat, right? This guy is definitely the biggest threat to my team. You do end up landing this gunk shot. Yeah, we definitely live. No poison, which is nice. I'm just going to Dark Pulse one more time here. If you want to end up swapping out here, that's fine. This Pokemon will be as low as I need it, realistically. And man, I'm happy with the Pokemon that they brought to this game. Like, it doesn't... it just makes the matchup a lot less volatile in the endgame. Having Terra'd this thing so you don't have the speed boost on Ogerpon. So we have the fastest Pokemon. We have both the fastest Pokemon. They could be Scarf Ogerpon, but Scarf Cinder is always still faster. So we don't have to deal with that. No Dragonite, so no E-Speeds, which was something that really tripped me up in prep. No Skarmory. Really could have brought Zarude and kicked their butt with that. No Arcanine, Hisui. So I mean, it's definitely a situation here for sure. They're gonna stay in. I mean, potential for flinch. You might be Covert Cloak. We get a crit there, and you do land the second gunk shot, which is fine. I really don't mind. We keep the Reflect up here, right? Yeah. So I'm just gonna go Azelf here. And I'm just going to hit a Mystical Power versus this guy and get a Spatak Raise. Is the idea right now. That's the idea. And we do hit. Beautiful. So down goes Okidogi. So your Terra Captain's down. There's a Reflect up. My Azelf is at +1 special attack. And something like Gardevoir can come in. But if they show to be like Choice Scarf Gardevoir, they are normally knocking me down. They do go to McQueen, which makes me feel like Choice Scarf. They do take the layer of Spike. They get Levitate, which is fine. I mean, Flamethrower should 2-hit KO, but from here, I'm thinking I could also Gleam if I wanted to. Flamethrower is fine. If they're Modest Moonblast, it always knocks me into Salic range. If they are Timid, and then it doesn't always, but it knocks me a lot of the time. So Flamethrower. You are not Scarfed. Oh, you're AV. You are super duper AV'd. Okay, and you crit me and one-shot me, which I guess is fair with you missing a gunk shot. It's definitely annoying for me. Definitely annoying, but the crit definitely matters there. I get to pretty freely bring in my treads here. I do not actually have the correct attack to hit you here, right? But an Earthquake looks like it would knock this thing out. I really want to Volt Switch here. I mean, what? Even if like Ogerpon comes out, whatever wants to come out is not really in a great position. I think I'll just EQ. Like, if this thing is max HP, it potentially has some rolls to live. But I think we just see Ogerpon come out or Blastoise. Symboli. You saw this. This is Blastoise. Yeah, Earthquake is going to do a lot. You do take Spikes damage. This might just 2-hit KO you. It is not. So you're defensive. So you're not going to be Shell Smashing on me. I mean, I'm just going to Volt Switch out here. We have the Pasho. I guess if they were like weakness policy with Smash, that could have been a little scary. Right? I'm just going to go out to Klefki here. You might be spinning this. I could have gone Komao. But I feel like this is just a safe play, as they do flip. So I can get up a screen versus them. If it's Ogerpon, I probably just reflect into Foul Play. I think Foul Play should break a sub on Ogerpon every time. Yeah, definitely. They got to this guy. This guy actually can be scary. Right? I'm a little bit worried about Glare coming out. as I swap out to Como. If they do that, it's a good play, but I'm going to make the play anyways. All right. I think it just makes sense for me. The Dunsparce. They might be Shadow Ball, right? They're Coil. Okay. Your Coil, that's really cool. What is your physical attack to hit me? I have no clue what your physical attack to hit me is going to be. The Dunsparce that's coiled up is interesting. The Dunsparce. Pew Coil. Potentially Dragon Tail, I guess? Right? I mean, I could taunt you, keep you from coiling again. That's kind of what I want to go for here. We should be able to outrun you. So I'll just taunt. Like, it's +1 attack, it's +1 defense. Alright. Yeah, you can't coil again. I can freely just Drain Punch on this turn. I don't care if you want to go out to the Gardevoir. I'll just Drain Punch. Yeah, you do withdraw. So Gardevoir's coming out here. I'll just Terra Blast it the next time. Yeah. This is fine with me. You're AV. You're taking Spikes damage. You're going to trace my Bulletproof. Yeah, I mean, this is fine. They also just cannot touch my Klefki. But Gardevoir... Gardevoir... You really don't have an Assault Vest set in here. Versus my Terra Ghost Como. I mean, they actually do a decent chunk to me. Alright? But their team is just so chipped at this point, it might be worth swapping. I mean, I can also just go hard into Jingle Bells, get up a second Spike. I definitely could. What's the best play? I'm just gonna take the damage here. Oh, you are slow. You are no speed investment at all. I'm really glad I did this. Well, goodbye, Gardevoir. I'm glad that I put a decent bit of speed investment on this Pokemon. Yeah, because Gardevoir's base 80. I did not put very much speed into this guy. That's crazy. Alright, we see Ogre come out. Ogre Pawn. Like, if this thing wants to knock me off, it's annoying. Sure. But I just Drain Punch this guy and get a lot of health back. I'm a little bit worried about a Sword Stance coming out, but I do have a Choice Scarf Pokemon in the back that kind of just blows them up. I'm just going to Drain Punch here. You do just Ivy Cudgel. This might be banded. They do 121. That's not banded. Yeah, that actually just did nothing to me. And I think Como is just going to straight up win this game. I really just believe it at this point. I don't think they can do anything to stop me. Yeah, that just did so much damage with that Drain Punch. They can SD here if they want. No, they're just cudgeling. So I do expect this thing to be Choice Scarfed. I have another Scarfer in the back anyways. And they're going to get my Como pretty weakened, right? I guess getting me this weakened is pretty bad. I beat the Dunsparce. I'm pretty sure I just beat the Blastoise still. Let me just Drain Punch again. I could get crit here by Ivy Cudgel, right? I don't. I actually would have lived a crit there. But even so, I can still win with the Pokemon I have available. Both my special attackers are gone. Which would have made it tough, but I just go get up a Reflect with Klefki. And I spam attacks with Treads. And Cinderace just high jump kicks versus them. They go Toys. Yeah, I mean, they're trying to get rid of this Pokemon for sure. Blastoise, I mean, this thing is physically defensive for sure. I don't think we knock you out with like a Drain Punch or anything here. Do I die to any attack from them? I don't think so, especially not after a Drain Punch. I'm just gonna click it. We don't quite knock them out. But we're getting some HP back. I don't think we ever die here, unless you're Dark Pulse. Your Helmet. You're gonna Surf me. I mean, I have a lot of Spadef. We do die. Okay. Now, this is where it can get sketch, right? Because the stupid coil Pokemon. I mean, I'm just going to go out to skirt. I'm going to Volt Switch. And I'm going to bring out my Cinderace. Versus the Dunsparce. Yep, we pick up that kill. High Jump Kick should one-shot max HP to Dunsparce. And even if we miss, I don't think they're going to knock me out with a Body Slam. Even after missed damage. And I still outspeed them because I'll be Scarfed. If they coil and I miss, then we just do 1,000,000,000% to you anyways. And they have to bank on me missing a lot. They've taken 2 spikes here. Honestly, I'd probably win with 2 Pyro Balls as well, but I just HJK here. Please tell me I hit. They are, okay, they're Culver, or not Culver, they're Chople. They still take 1,000,000,000. That is 1,000,000,000 damage. As they do get the Roost off. Okay, so they're banking on the miss here. As long as I hit this attack, I win the game. Just need to hit this attack. And we do. Down goes the Dunsparce, and we're going to take a nice 3-0 victory over Onesie. A huge win for my momentum. We're now 4-1, which is just great. I love to see that. Great game to Onesie there. I think losing that Greninja early was really tough. I mean, me just staying in and Drain Punching turn 1 against that Greninja. I mean, they made a great play clicking Ice Beam there. But just a really tough scenario to start it off. The Como was really just nasty into their team. And I easily could have lost that if I missed 1 or 2. I think I would have needed to miss 2 high jump kicks to really lose that game there. But it definitely would have been a lot closer. Definitely sorry about the Gunk Shot miss earlier in the game. I don't think it really ended up mattering because I think Azel's Mystical Power would have KO'd afterwards. And then Gardevoir crit me anyways. So it's like... I don't know. It was a really good game in general, and they have a really scary team. I do not want to face them again in the playoffs, and they're definitely a team that I will maybe get matched up into because he's going to make the playoffs because he's just the GOAT. But yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you do, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe. I'm trying to hit 500 subs by the end of the year, and we're getting pretty close, so it would feel really nice. But yeah, that's about it. See you in the next one. Peace out.